Hisses, a music podcast where you hear from the artists you love. I'm your host, Kevin Coffey, and in this episode, we have Ricky Phillips of legendary classic rock band Styx. Styx has been rocking for nearly 50 years now, and they're finally back on the road after a pandemic year that shut down just about every tour out there. Styx also has a brand new album, Crash of the Crown, released earlier this year, making Styx one of the few bands of the 70s era to continue to release new music. So we sat down with Ricky, who was kind enough to talk about it all, including what he really thinks of those classic Styx songs he's played hundreds and hundreds of times. Really quick, I want to remind you that you could listen to the Pops and Hisses podcast and find music news, reviews, and interviews at popsandhisses.com. But right now, it's time for Ricky Phillips of Styx. Let's get into it.
Well, yeah, thanks so much for calling me today. You guys are right in the middle of touring, right in the middle of shows, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, it's we've got 4 more shows starting tonight, and then we head home for a few weeks, and we'll see what's going on with everything and the craziness that's happening right now.
I know. Like, I'm wondering what it feels like because I've talked to a lot of promoters. Certainly fans, they're buying tickets and got excited, and now they're kind of questioning, what does that feel like for you guys to kind of look out there? I'm sure you're so excited hey, we can play some shows now, and now might be a little more wary of what might happen later.
Management has taken care of us as far as us personally. It's a concern. It's an ongoing conversation, and we will go with whatever's necessary. I think I really don't have a whole lot of input or information, but it's concerning, and we're very safe within our unit. We try to keep a bubble, and we try not to be the people carrying anything anywhere. But beyond that, I really can't comment because it's a time where I shouldn't even talk. I hate talking about what this kind of stuff when it's music that I should be talking about, and everybody's got their opinion in this country, and everybody gets upset because the other guy doesn't have your opinion. So we're trying to make people happy and take their minds off all that.
Oh, I hear you. I totally understand. I'm not trying to bog you down with that. It's just I know.
No.
I feel like it's a conversation that comes up with no matter what when you're talking about concerts and tours, just because it's large groups.
As it should be. This is an important time. Yeah.
Definitely. So, what has it been like, though, to be back on stage again? I mean, the amount of shows you guys usually play in a year and just not doing it for a while must have been kind of strange.
I always say, it's like falling off a bike. It's easy. It has been, but we've had a few chuckles on the stage. I was telling somebody the other day, if you ever see two of us laughing at each other, it's probably because the other guy messed up. We think we know this stuff inside and out because we have. That's what we've done for decades now. And I'm starting my 19th year with the band this coming month. So it's funny what little tiny things. Not to get too technical, but it isn't so much that you forget how the song goes, but as a musician, 8 places you can play a C note. And so where did I play? Mm-hmm. Where did I start this riff that ran into this riff that made it easy because I have to sing at the same time? It's that kind of stuff that you go, oh. But I think we're there now. It was the first few shows. Everybody had their brain focused on this or that. Or nobody had the same issues, but it's beyond the camaraderie we have, which is just fantastic. It's the best. Walking on the stage with these guys, I've never had this experience before, and I've been in some great bands with great guys. I still have some long-time friendships with people I've worked with before Styx, but this is really like a brotherhood. It's even Chuck Panazzo, who he and his brother started the band back in the 60s. Chuck has had health issues. It's no secret. It's in his book and everything. He is still very much a part of the band, and sometimes I play bass as well, and sometimes I'll switch over and I'll play a double neck guitar so I can play some 12-string parts or six-string parts, whatever it is. But it's just a really comfortable place. Each guy has got his own sense of humor. Each guy's got his own talents and his gifts, and I think we all have a really high respect for one another, and that's really important within a band.
Yeah. I can imagine those times being hard when, I mean, some of these songs must feel like you know them so well, but you know, if you've not had that muscle memory of doing it 150 times in a year or whatever, all of a sudden you wait, this part, what comes next?
Yeah. Well, it was funny. The first couple shows, I think like I said, everybody, and it seems like a mountain when you do something, but I'll have the other guys in the message. You did? Where? What? It's such a blip. It's just one little thing you missed. And so, there's so much going on in a Styx show, you're probably not even going to be noticed. But just to answer your question, honestly, it was a kind of an adjustment for the first week out.
Oh, I bet. I mean, how many shows do you guys usually do in a year? I mean, on average?
When I first joined the band, we were doing 130 or 40, and then we tried to bring it back to 100 shows, and then that started creeping back up to 108, 110, 150.
Of course.
So this year, it seems like they're trying to get as much out of us as they can because it's been off for so long. We're doing a lot of shows. We're doing like five shows a week right now.
Yeah, that's a lot. It especially must seem a lot when, I don't know, did you guys do anything really last year, or probably?
No, we didn't get to. We were just making a record, and that's the only thing we got to do. And even making the record isn't the way I've ever recorded before, because we had to kind of write our parts in our own studios, work on it, and then a few months later, start the building of the house. Starting with Todd on drums, and Todd does so many podcasts around the world and teaching things and things that he does, that his studio set up so that no one has to be in his studio to run it. He's got the technology for his engineer to be able to mic up his drums and record them from his studio, and then Tommy and Will could be watching in Nashville and discussing. So it was just pretty trick how it was all done.
Yeah.
And I chose to fly to Nashville. Everybody had their own thing. I put on, the mask and I just wanted to really, really, be there face to face with the producer, and we were all masked up in the studio. We all respect. We didn't know we didn't know what we were afraid of, but we knew something was not good was happening. So we tried to respect the science and argue about it later. It was really good, because I think I was able to write a whole bunch of parts and different things. We couldn't obviously use them all, but I wanted to be prepared. I used to do a lot of sessions in Los Angeles. That's how I met Todd Zuckerman. As a matter of fact, Todd and I didn't meet in Styx. We met doing sessions in LA. So, and then all of a sudden he called me up and said, "What are you doing? You got to sit down." And I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "No, I just heard Tommy and Jay Wire ready to offer you the gig in Styx." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, Tommy's going to call you, but I asked if I could call you first." So, it's cool to have that kind of a relationship with the guy that you're really building. You guys are the structure of the house, and everything that goes on top of that is solid as long as we are. And so this has been a really good experience for me working with Todd all these years. I have great respect for his work ethic and how tenacious he is in studying his craft and never stopping. He's trying to push forward. So that's been fun to watch and fun to actually contribute in. And the two of us we just start playing, and it feels good. We've just been doing it so long together. So that was awesome. Comfort for me in doing the record the way we were kind of had to do it, because when I heard Todd's parts, it was kind of cleared up a lot of notes that I had about certain things, and I knew where his kick drummer, where he was playing something I needed to give him room for, or if there was a hole or space that needed to be filled, I had already had worked up lines that would work well there, and that's just the way this band is. Everybody comes with a bucket load of ideas, and it worked. I was only in Nashville for 4 days to record 18 pieces of music. And,
wow, that's a marathon.
And
or
it was
sprint, really.
Yeah, it was.
It's a lot at once.
Feel like it. It didn't feel like it because everybody really does come prepared, and even though it's a lot of odd signature, it's a very progressive record. It's probably the most progressive record. But there's all the melodic, the Styx harmonies and melodies and stuff. So it isn't like a music theory class. It's just it's fun for the other musicians. I've had got a lot of emails and notes and a couple phone calls from guys going, "Wow, that part in 7 where you go back into 5 before you get." And I'm thinking, oh, cool. So people are noticing this stuff. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that was something I was going to ask you. Is I think Styx has always featured a lot of musical diversity, and the catalog kind of stretches out a lot, if that makes sense. And I think it happens a lot on this record, especially. And where does that come from? Is that just what the band likes to do? You guys all have a lot of different backgrounds too. I'm sure that's a part of it.
I think that it was probably when Will did the mission and he saw what we were capable of. I think he and Tommy, they both live in Nashville. None of us all live together, so they have the luxury of being in the same town. So they started working on songs and ideas for songs, trying things out, different instrumentation. Just want to do something different, Want it to be Styx. Mm-hmm. Definitely, there are certain hit marks that have to be there on every record, like the melodies and the sound and the style of playing certain things. But they wanted it to grow. It's repeating yourself. It's just boring. And I think that's
right.
kind of one of the things. And then I see my friends forgetting who they are as a band. All of a sudden they put out a record and I go, that's so-and-so? I wouldn't, and so it was always been important to not just lose the fans and move on and try and open up another door. So I hope I'm answering your question, but it's kind of one of those things where when this record came up, I think it was a constant, or not constant, but part of the chemistry was now to remain Styx, but bring in some new information. It's time to give the people something extra. And so This is what came out. I don't think we all knew. We didn't know it was going to enter Billboard at number 1. That blew our mind. It totally blew our mind. No, I'm not trying to be cheeky at all. It was just nothing that we saw coming.
It must be fulfilling to see that.
Well, yeah, because, a lot of things that have happened in a lot of careers, not just Styx, but have been wrong moves. The proof's in the pudding. You got to wait till the people have a taste of that pudding and give you their reaction. And so, in this case, it blew. It was a happy. That was a happy day in Styx world when that came out.
That's great. And that's something I wanted to ask about too. Is making new music. A lot of Styx's contemporaries are happy that there's nothing wrong with this. It's totally respectable, but keep playing the old songs every night, and not really return to writing a new one. But that's not something you guys do in Styx. You guys keep putting out records, which I think is really cool. What keeps you guys going back to the studio?
I think we all have so many ideas. We're all in the dressing room in our little warm-up instruments or something, and I'm going, oh, Todd, can you follow me on it, play this, and I'm recording it into my phone. Tommy's in the other room. I can hear him recording something from his amp into the phone. And same thing with Lawrence. It's everybody is constantly coming up with ideas, and I'm just happy that some of those ideas can go towards the band. Some of them aren't appropriate. We don't all write things that are going to be exactly right for Styx, but we kind of know what songs to pitch or what ideas would work within the framework, and then it's whether or not everyone else agrees or not. It's just that simple. But everybody's always writing and coming up with ideas. Everybody in the band. So it makes it easy. It really isn't easy. There's nothing about making a record that's easy.
Right.
It's not easy, but when you have like minds, people that want to jump in that process with both feet as well, it makes it more welcoming.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just cool to see you guys still making new music. I dig the new record. Are you guys able to play a lot of it in the shows?
We have been.
A lot of songs you got to play.
We've been coming out with Fight of Our Lives. It's kind of a good opening song, and then we've been. You don't want to bring too many new things in a set right now, but we've been roving in and out with Crash of the Crown, which is always goes over well. Reveries, some people love Reveries. What else? Save Us From Ourselves has been going over really well. But we just try to do this. Depends on also if we're doing 2 full sets. We've been doing that a lot since we've been out.
Yeah.
It's a long night of music because we'll take a 20-minute intermission, come out and play for another hour and 5 or 10 minutes after just playing that. And then, so each set we try to rove in a couple. But if it's one long set, maybe 3.
Yeah. But that gives you a lot of time to play a lot of stuff. That's really great.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really cool that people are singing along with the new songs. That's been cracking us up.
That's got to feel gratifying too.
None of this is coming though. I mean, you're always hopeful. You always want it to be successful. But right now, with everything else that's going on, this is just is like icing on the cake.
That's fantastic. Well, one thing I wanted to ask, we don't have much time left, but some of these songs, I'm thinking of Come Sail Away and Too Much Time on My Hands and songs like that. The band's played 1,000 times. In your, nearly 20 years, you've probably played hundreds and hundreds of times. But which of those songs do you really love? I mean, maybe you can't pick a favorite, but there's got to be some songs that you have really great parts on, or songs that people just think you are having the time of their life.
I think the song that I wish I would have written, and it's a simple song from a musical sense, but it's so simple. It's so good. I should say I love playing, and that's Fooling Yourself. It's just a really clever song. But I love playing Renegade just because it's a tough rock tune. Grand Illusion. I liked Grand Illusion when I was in the Babies and we were opening for Styx. I remember Grand Illusion, hearing that and going, whoa, that's just a great piece of music. Fun to play every night. Red Storm was from The Mission. When Todd and I get to riff out and do Red Storm, it has to be just the right setting. But when we do that, it's a lot of fun. They're all good. I mean, Rockin' the Paradise and Too Much Time on My Hands. They're just fun songs to play. So,
right. It's got to be a fun set to be up there playing that.
It is. And JY singing Miss America, that's kind of his trademark song. And, there's really not a bad one in the bunch.
That's awesome. Well, Ricky, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Glad you guys are out able to play some shows, and I wanted to say I've been a fan of your bands, The Babies, Bad English, and
thanks
for a long time.
Thanks,
so it's cool to talk to you.
For sure. I mean, this is like even talking to you, for us to be able to do this at our age. When I was a kid, a guy like me, oh God, that guy, he's not going to make it through the weekend. But for us to be able to be getting away with this all this time and having people like yourself appreciate what we do, I mean, I think that's why we're still doing it. But I appreciate talking to you, Kevin, and take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, you too. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there when I can.
Very cool. All right, cheers.
Thanks for listening to my talk with Ricky Phillips of Styx. Check out their new album, Crash of the Crown, and keep an eye on their website, styxworld.com, for upcoming tour dates. Styx has tour dates all over the country, scheduled right now through May 2022, and if you're near me in Omaha, Nebraska, you can catch Styx at the Ralston Arena on November 18th. Find tickets for that show at ralstonarena.com. I want to remind you, you can subscribe to the Pops and Hisses podcast on your favorite podcast app, or head to popsandhisses.com, where you can listen to the podcast and find more music news, reviews, interviews, and of course, lots of podcast episodes. I'm your host, Kevin Coffey, and you can follow me on Twitter as @Omaha Music Guy, or find my page on Facebook by searching my name, Kevin Coffey. My last name is spelled Coffey, by the way. Thank you to Hurrdat Media for producing the show, and I encourage you to check out Hurrdat's network of podcasts. There's entertainment, there's sports, there's fitness. We've got something for everybody. So find all those podcasts and lots more at hurrdatmedia.com/network. That's HURRDAT media.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
A Hurrdat Media Production.